So, wait. Yeah, I'm already live. Here we go. Going over here. It's very cold here, 9 degrees. I'm gonna grab my lovely apron. As you can see, Bulbasaur is still at the spot where I left him last time. There we go. I'm going to give him an extra coat, and then I'm going to give this statue an extra coat. Already spray painted it black to save on paint. Displaced you. And I know that's not one of the priority projects. You know, this one is important to me. This one is for later. I don't know why I did that, but okay. I'm just going to give it an extra coat and then put it away. That was a bit too much. Sorry if I'm a bit out of screen, but not very nimble at the moment. Probably due to the cold. And besides, the paint looks black on the screen anyway. And it's a very dark blue hue, almost black. Let's see where to put it. You can dry it over here. There you go. Now, this statue is just a kid's craft toy. Paint your own kitty. It's a bit big. But I want to turn this into a cat memorial. Galaxy, of course. Hence why it needs to be black-ish. Or at least dark blue. Because those who know me a bit longer know that Varos was the 6th cat I lost. I was raised with dogs, so I didn't have cats until I met my love. And the first cats we got were Max and Moos. Moos was already about 17 years old, so we knew he wouldn't last long with us, but we wanted him because then at least he would pass inside a home and not in a cage. While we still had Moos, we also took in Frodo. And Frodo, well, it was a cat from someone my husband knew, but didn't get along with the other cats, was fighting all over. So we said, yeah, sure, we're going to try. And Frodo was an amazing cat, of course. All cats are. But then we unexpectedly lost Frodo as well. Reason, he had an enlarged heart, which no one knew about. So it was a matter of time before he would pass. Just no one knew he was terminal. And medication would not have helped much. The thing was, cats with enlarged hearts need to stay calm. Oh, seems like the base of this cat was 3D printed. I'm seeing texture in the plaster. This was a bought statue, by the way. Not something I made myself. Well, we still had Max when we moved. It was heartbreaking because if you're moving, you need to, move things. And we couldn't move everything in one day, so we did bits at a time. While I think I stayed with my parents mostly, and my love stayed in his apartment. So I could quickly deal with things when I'm there, stuff like that. And then, for some reason, Max was under the impression he would be left behind. How do we know that? He crawled into one of the moving bags. And that was heartbreaking. Like, don't worry, you're coming along with us. We just can't explain it. There's nothing there right now. It's too cold, stuff like that. Max, of course, moved to the new house. And he loved the garden. It was quite easy. You could leave the door open. He would look for his spot in the garden. And then about 2 hours later, he was still at the same spot enjoying the sun. So that was amazing. And we eventually lost Max to kidney failure. Don't think he became that old. I think he became about 12 years or something like that. Can't really remember. So eventually, in due time, we decided to look for new cats. And we had a click with Frisbee. And the shelter was like, yeah, but well, he was still called Marnix back then. Marnix is his best friend, and we can't separate them. But he's a bit scared. But don't worry, he'll be fine as soon as he has a steady home. So we're like, and we were still quite inexperienced. I'm not saying complete inexperienced, but all our cats have been easy. So we haven't known any uneasy cats. So we moved in Frisbee and Marnix, and we were like, yeah, Marnix, the X sound is how you chase away a cat. So let's change the name. And eventually my husband decided on Faros, which was funny because at that time my company had a very unstable program called Faros. Okay, this is how far I can paint it. So it will have to dry now. Just remove some of the blobs. Otherwise I can't pick it up anymore. So we'll return to this cat later on. But due to a misunderstanding, there was like someone who said, yeah, but I told you I would get your next cat. So be careful, be careful, be careful. Don't drop it. Dropping it. Okay. Had to touch it. But yeah, better that than dropping it. And I already ordered a cat. I already bought it, paid it, and it's by a breeder. So we're like, whoops. Okay, that was not the intention, but okay, let's get it. Let's accept it. I mean, it was a gift. There we go. Let's get some clean water. Not much water in here. So it's time for me to get some water anyway. Probably gonna do that during my break. So, and that's how we got little Vladimir. Well, little Vladimir, I had a feeling something was off. Turns out I was right. He had an infection from the nest, but of course the breeder denied that. Of course, it's impossible. Forgot to clean up last time. Whoops. So yeah, little Vladimir spent a couple of days at the vet. We were allowed to take him home, but I was like, no, I don't think we can give him the care he needs right now. Doesn't matter that it's expensive. We'll pay it. I have enough savings. Don't worry. And eventually we took Vladimir home, and yeah, Faros and Frisbee then got interested in him. They didn't like him at first. Let's see. Meanwhile, I'm going to do the priorities. Decided that I'm just going to finish it so it's nice for a picture. I'm not going to stress on making it perfect on the sides because you don't see that on the pictures. And I can do that later on. So to give myself a little bit less stress. Why is this shiny? It's not supposed to be shiny. Do I have... No, I just need to get this one. So that's how we ended up with the famous picture that one day I got home from work and the door to Vladimir's room, because we still kept them separated, was suddenly open. I thought, well, okay, maybe the door wasn't closed well, but Vladimir's probably still going to be there. Nope, he was not. So that was like, oh my gosh, where did Vladimir go? Tiny cat. Am I going to find a tiny cat that passed away? I hadn't seen the other cats as well, which added to my worry. So I was looking for them, and eventually I found them in the attic. All three of them in one chair. And I'm absolutely convinced Vladimir could not climb those stairs on his own, and could not get on that chair on his own. I don't know. We don't know who pulled him up the chair or not the stairs. We do think it was Frisbee, considering the photo. He was in a position where he could reach for the cat. Okay, so I need to get the good brown. Where's my good brown? That's silver. Here's the other brown. I need a scrap paper. Do I have scrap paper here? Yes, I do. Needs to dry first. Fine. And otherwise I'll do that with paint. Well, we lost Frisbee quite soon after. Again, kidney failure. Most old age. Frodo, heart failure. Max, kidney failure. And then Frisbee again with kidney failure. And then things remained stable for quite some years. 8 years to be precise. Until we lost Vladimir earlier this year, which left us with Faros. And if you heard my stories, watched my streams, September last year, Vados was diagnosed with fluids around heart and lungs. Terminal, wouldn't last the day, wouldn't last the week. Eventually lost 449 days. Vladimir went off acute renal aggressive cancer. So not much we could have done. Doesn't make it better, but you know, that's what it was. I need a darker brown. So yeah, that's the story of my cats. And I'm going to make a memorial for them and add some space for future cats so they can be included. Because of course there will be cats. There's no doubt about that. Okay, give them a bit darker grin. So it won't fade away. Now let's see my priority projects. Let's look it back. The Lurbal Sissa. Now Sis is almost photographable. And Geos also almost ready to be photographed. Make pictures of. See, that's how we do that. I also finished, well, more or less finished coins. So I'll be doing those as well. Need to find out which coin belongs to Geos. It's one of the sunny ones. But to be honest, that's something that's easy done. I have it all on a USB stick and that's not with me at the moment. So if I just do a sunny one, it should be fine. Okay. So this is almost ready for taking pictures. It just needs to finish the eyes. Then this is Ren. This is Zack. Daarom. Leaf Konoi. Backs aren't perfect, but you know, they're the back anyway. Kitty Ocean. Navy. Marine. Not sure. It's a light. Irina. Yeah, Irina is not that. It's a bit later, so I still have time for that. I prefer the picture. Let's see. Oh, Ren is quite priority, so where's the Ren coin? The extra Ren coin. There we go. Courage. Moon character, but I don't know which one. Maybe spring. One of the Yami I know. Tengai. This one needs to be finished and I need the gold for it, but I think I'm going to try the gold marker. Chem, Gray, either Winter or Liberty, Boys, one of the Yami. Direct? Oh. One of the Yami and one of the Yami. Okay, so I don't really have that coin ready yet, but that's okay. First, my gold marker. Where's my gold marker? Seriously, when I'm done, things are going to get so organized here. And then I'm going to misplace everything within 3 days. Because I'm so good at misplacing things. Right. Has anyone seen my gold marker? I found a silver one, but that's not the one I'm looking for. How about you move to the other one? Probably we're gonna need extra coats. Almost there. Oh, gold is already dried. How about trying the other gold marker then? And in the future, I'm not going to use the oil-based paints. They dry a lot faster, but I prefer just the acrylic ones. Doesn't ruin your brushes if you accidentally use it. Come on. And it's a lot less wasteful, of course. There's a whole blob here. I needed at the tip. Just the tip. That's a reference. Careful not to well, this is pretty much done. right over here. And then I'm just going to paint the top with my beloved red. So this needs to shaky. I have a bit of an issue with the lighting here. Hopefully that will be fixed next week. Oh, that drop landed quite well. Spilled a bit. I'm gonna look at that soon enough. Of course, that can be repainted gold later, of course. Don't worry about that. Okay. Okay. Then the lure ball. Let's look for a lure ball. I still have to be done, but I'll do that later because again, you can see this fine. I need my where did I put my turquoise? Okay. Of course, you don't want to do that. Then we're just going to grab it from the tube. Probably enough already. And I'm well aware there's supposed to be a painted red part inside. But I haven't painted that out yet. All the free lines are in that red part. Okay, I got too much. But then we're just going to put it back. Yes, that actually works. I do think it tends to dry quite dark, but it is quite quick drying. I'm well aware of what I just did. Okay, that's a turquoise bit. Well, then my white, not my expensive white just yet, just my basic white. Not on the table, I guess. Not on the table. Not even my eye white? I need my eye white today anyway. This is not perfect covering white. This way I need less of my super expensive white. Just base coats first. A couple of them. And of course, paint is there to be used. The only waste is paint never used. But yeah, if you have crappy paint, and instead of tossing them out, or donating it to a kid so it will get frustrated and never want to draw again, or paint again. Usually if I have very crappy paint, for example, this one, you can't really see it, is very chunky. So I just, well, maybe I should put some water in it by now. Maybe dilution will help. But it's perfect for a base coat or mixing through very thin other paints. Of course, it helps if you have a mixer, so mixer. Okay. First base coat white. Just to make it slightly lighter. So you need less paint. And I'm well aware that people call this student quality or less than student quality. But you know, if it gives you joy, that's the most important one. I learned to work with crappy paint so I can advise others and help people who don't have a massive budget still have a good time. There we go. First layer done. Blastoise is done, but where did I put Blastoise? Let me check that. Blastoise put away. Okay. That's Lurball. Uh, Back to my list. My list. Okay, we have Sisse. And his coin is already done. Gio's coin not done yet, because I haven't painted the sun coins yet, but that will come soon. Kairan, done. Inclusive coin. Hanachan, done. No coin. Ren. Here's Ren. Still needs to do a lot. His coin, well, his secondary coin is drying right now. His primary coin was done. Yeah, done. And then Whisper Shadow Hunter, done, including coin. Of course, we have Irina's wings, which are pretty much done. Just the sides again. Okay, Ren, which one was your hair color? Right, which one was your hair color? It needs to be a reddish one. This is brown. There we go. Looks like a paint with good coverage. Mix one of those, the crunchy whites in there, so you always have to spread it very well if you don't want the crunchies to show up. If it's on close, it can give you texture. But if you don't want close, keep on brushing. Okay. And of course, the Yami all wear mostly grayish tones. This one's gonna get a shake. I think they call this color petrol. Put it in here. I don't know what color it's supposed to be, so there we go. This is all the same color, and I'm going to give the pants this petrol color. Personally, I prefer more colorful clothes, but the Yami are not colorful, at least not in the stories that are told about them. Their ancestors and descendants probably are a lot more colorful. Or the ones that didn't go along on hunts, but pretty much all went along on hunts. And I want the dark brown for the shoes. Don't know about his eye color just yet. I did draw Ren in color once, but I don't think I actually did his eye color because it was too small to do anyway. So that was my cop out. Okay. When it comes to designing characters with outfits, I prefer about 3 colors a character. Otherwise, it might become too much. But sometimes I do more. especially if the character needs to be too much. Why is there still a bit of foil on here? We don't need that. No. And it makes sure that way you can't really close it off. Okay, and a dark-ish gray. I more or less watched a movie, and I know that sounds very weird. Because I was working on other things at the same time. So my love watched it and I kind of more or less listened along. So I missed a couple of details. And that was Ungentlemanly Warfare or something like that. I really liked it. And I think that if we would have a movie about Yami, I want this white after all, that vibe would fit them as well. Violent if needed, but also very, yeah. How do you describe it? An F-all mentality. There we go. Then can go and dry. Okay, so that is actually quite far along already. Hello, and I won't state where you are because of privacy reasons, but hello. Let's see. March. Irina plus her wings. Well, her wings are pretty much done, except the sides. Do I want to... Let's see how far along we come. Because they need to be done eventually, but I think that needs to be matched with the color eventually, because she can't really get into all the nooks and crannies. I think this whole blue in the back and all needs to be done with paint. And I think I have a very nice light blue after all. Yeah, I do have that. I can just use paint, but acrylic markers are nice, but I always get the ones that get clogged, don't really flow that nice, or they flow the first time and then they, well, dry a bit and then they become very nasty. But this is enough for pictures. So I will finish everything, don't worry, but just to give myself a little bit less stress. By the way, my old printer. As long as they're finished enough for pictures, I can continue other projects or other characters. Because since I make that rule for myself, I already notice a lot of stress floating away. Sis's eyes are almost dry, so I can add the light. Geo's not yet. Geo's needs a little bit more drying time. But hey, we have 2 hours. And he's the end of January, so I still have a bit of time. And that's all I need to do for Geo's. His blinkies in the eyes and his coin. Sure. Already done. Saffron. Hello, Saffron. His coin is not in the set I already finished. So I'm just going to do his hair. Lovely sunny yellow, same as Ohio, who's also almost done. So I think I'm going to do that as well because, yes, she only needs her eyes. Saffron's skin needs a little bit of extra love. Now, which color belongs to Saffron? Or Saffron? I'm okay with both pronunciations. He's one of the bright orange tones. Is that you? I think it's this one. Sisse. Pink Caron. Marine. Then it should be this one. Ah, lovely. Thank you for mini jars. Luckily I still have quite a few, especially since I roped a certain nephew into emptying the jars for me as well. When we had a family holiday, the first one we ever had since like forever. We don't really go on family holidays. I had taken a couple of along so we could finish it. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll sacrifice myself. I'll empty them. So I gave him 9 of those jars for St. Nicholas celebration. And he was fine sacrificing himself. Don't worry, Aunt Kim. I'll finish them. And you'll get the jars. Also gave him something to paint himself. Let's see which color. I think I'm going to go for green. And I warned him, don't worry, the paint that's with your painting set is absolute crap. But don't worry, your mother will probably have a lot of nice paint, and otherwise just let me know. Because his mother paints as well, but she paints different kind of things. So, oh, I completely forgot to do a strand of his hair. But that's okay, we still have the paint. Don't have much of this color, so let's not waste it. I made this color and I can't remember for what. I think it was Gios's darkest eye color. 2 strands of hair, actually. Okay. Let's give him lots of shaky, shaky, shaky. Right, and his coin wasn't here yet, so I can't start that yet. Of course, I was kind of busy this week. Actually, not busy, just mostly grieving. And grieving takes a lot of energy, so that's my excuse. Still weird. I always finished my day by emptying the litter boxes and then saying goodnight to Varos. And that's something that doesn't need to be done anymore. And like I said before, I knew it was coming. I mean, I knew this for about 449 days. So I made sure, oh, missed a little spot, that I always said him a good night. And maybe you remember the stories that he stole my chair. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna give him this chair and have fun today, because I can have the chair the rest of my life. And it feels weird, him not seeing in my chair, not having to say goodnight, not having to empty the litter boxes. His pants, I think I'm going to go for almost black. Or maybe it's more black than the black itself. And there will be cats. And we decided not before the new year because of fireworks. Just imagine, you have a new cat, which is already stressful for the cat. Getting to know you, getting to know the house, getting to know the environment around the house from the window, because we only want inside cats. And that's mostly because the outside is, well, just a big parking lot. And we kind of don't want our cats to go missing. Oh, put it in the, oh well. And we don't want them to get lost. We often find those, have you seen this cat posters around here? And we don't want it to happen to our cats, so we keep them indoors. And Vladimir was allowed in the garden under supervision. And one time he was a bit too fast and managed to grab a little bird, which survived, by the way, only to be grabbed by magpies the next day. So yay. That was sarcasm in case that wasn't clear. Let's see, this brown. Yeah, a little bit lighter brown. And Varos was only allowed under strict supervision, because Varos was a scaredy cat that was found on the streets. And you might think, why don't you build an enclosure for your cats? Well, we have a sunscreen that kind of blocks most of it, so it's not possible because of that. And we have a fruit tree that also prevents things from being closed off. So next cats, we'll have to get to know them, of course. Max, you could leave in the garden and just turn away. And Frisbee, well, he didn't get enough time to get to know the garden. But I envisioned that Frisbee would needed light supervision, because as soon as he found out that he could climb the tree, we'd have problems. Let's see. We have Saffron Spring. Hello, Spring. You're mostly done already, aren't you? Yeah. Skin tone. Let's see. Spring was. Let's see. Autumn was east. Summer was south. Winter was north, so that means west. Don't prefer shaking. I could have just stirred, but you know. Next week, it's been settled. Do I have to look her up her eye colors? I think Spring's eye colors were blue? Or maybe pink. I think it was pink. And as for Spring's coin, singular, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to pick one of the flower ones. Most likely it's the flower one. If I'm correct, this was the color. Come on, guys. In the corner with you. I see the pink needs a little bit of extra. That was a blend. That's not on the table. That should be underneath here. Looks like this one anyway. It's almost done for my first break. Gonna grab some water. I think that yellow is fine. Okay. How about I do Irina's coins as well? Can't remember who you were, so just gonna do just to be safe. These coins I'm going to give that first layer. Some white for Irina. Don't worry, I can redo the gold in the end. But it's easier to paint gold over gold than white over gold. Okay. That's the white. I can't recall which character you are. I'm gonna guess. Wait, were you Suta? No, you were not Suta. Well, worst thing that can happen is that I need to repaint it. Besides, I can always claim that this was the intended color. Still looks nice. It's copper. Probably gonna need a second coat anyway, so. And then this flower. Very interesting how these parts melted with the other parts. This is a blob on paint. Never noticed it, but I actually like it. Makes it a bit more unique. Don't need to do that much. This is a lot of extra painting of gold. Don't have the gold here. I have it at the main house because of the coins. Already need to remix. But at least I'm using it. Oh, oh boy, need water, need clean water. Help. Oh boy. Aha. I was prepared. Not sure if I can save this, but I'm gonna try anyway. Quite a lot of water. I'm well aware it will make it super thin. But right now, it's too thick. Where you're not. Go in. Okay, so it's now purple water. Foamy purple water. Keep on pulling out of it. Okay. Now I need to check. Yeah, it's very thin, painty water right now. That's okay. Since this is more or less unsalvageable in this wave color, I'm gonna mix it into a new color. A little bit of the very dark purple. And the crappy white. We have a lot of water in there, so that should help dilute the white. Stirring into paint again. But it's too light. Don't worry, don't worry. We still have space for some extra dark purple. Oh. That's the final dark purple we can get in there. Seriously, you're having issues, a lot of issues lately. But we're getting towards that color again. I'm very insecure, but I'm quite proud of my ability to match colors and mix colors. Okay. This is the color. This is what it used to be, so slightly dark, but this is still wet. Here you are. So let's see how it turns out when it's dry. Might actually become very close. Another paint. Well, salvage, is that the right word? Salvage? Didn't really salvage anything. at least made usable again. Seriously. No, in. Seriously, how hard can it be to toss something into a little tiny bucket? So yeah, it's a bit too thin. You know, the other part was a bit too thick. And yes, I have a lot of this purple now, which means I need to use it. Don't know which character just yet, because I mainly have grayish characters at the moment. And I need... It's fine. I'm not really fond of this color just yet. It feels way too light, so I might paint over this. Okay. So this goes to dry. Not sure if it's going to be dry for today. I'm going to take my hourly break, because breaks are good. And Graven is done. So that means I need to get a little bit of space. Next up is Caterpie, followed by Den. Where's Den? Den. And do I already have his coin? Yes, because his coin is already finished. And Kasumi's also done. Cool. So we're on track. Okay, I'll be seeing you in about, give or take,